Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Today I was fast actually. It says March 21st, but that is actually a US time. So right now, currently in Europe, it's the where I live. It's 22nd actually, and I dropped that actually a couple of hours ago. And I was rushed to do the videos because for some reason actually they didn't announce those updates or upgrades to FlutterFlow in the beta channel. So to be honest, I was not prepared for them. So I had to actually test it before I record the video. And today we are going to talk about the FlutterFlow Windows app, which unfortunately I will not be able to show you because I'm a Linux user. And we will talk about simultaneous actions or parallel actions. We're going to talk about that as well, which is a great thing actually, much appreciated from the FlowFlow side. This will actually open the possibilities even more when you're building your own load actions, because I am starting to realize that if you need your app to be like competitive, there needs to be like a lot of on load page actions, and using a parallel, it will be much better structured in general. And of course, the app should actually run even faster that way. It's not like waiting for the actions to execute. And then we have the queries for Firebase. We actually have the OR and queries, which is actually amazing. We actually had only AND queries, and we didn't have OR, which it's mind blowing how much time we spent with the flow, and we didn't have the OR queries. To be honest, I never had, like, at least I don't remember like a way to when I had to use it. But to be honest, if there was a time that I had to use it, I would probably used a custom function for that, but not anymore. This will be out of the box now. And the last thing we're going to talk about is API interceptors, and I have a lot to say about the API interceptors, so stay to the end of this video. And before actually we jump into the first topic, which is FlutterFlow for Windows, I just want to say again, thank you very much for all the people who have subscribed to my channel. We are actually right now more than 4,000 people, which is, for me, it's a lot. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. My channel, it's I'm not a UI UX designers. I'm always selling, and I'm not into like editing and creating the videos. So I know that my videos are that not like on this kind of level, but I really hope that the content that I'm producing is actually the thing that it's actually striking you and making you subscribe to my channel. I really hope so. And another thing that I want to mention is, if you actually are subscribed to FlutterFlow Spotlight, there are actually a lot of great tips and tricks of Spotify. Sorry, of course not Spotify. I wanted to say FlutterFlow. Why I say Spotify? So it's great tricks and tricks how to use FlutterFlow, and there is a video, for example, for a full app tutorial to do app, and there is an app showcase. So every week we have like a video and an app showcase, and then here we have a recommended tutorials. And I'm super gladful and I'm super thankful uh, to FlutterFlow to actually uh, implement my video, to feature my video there, create and download the widget screenshots in FlutterFlow. It's a great video explaining you how to actually uh, download any widget in FlutterFlow as a screenshot, or as an image, basically. And a lot of people were asking about specifically about that for the QR code So if you have a QR code, for example, and if you generate a QR code, if you want, and then you want to download it as an image. And in the future, I just want to say that in the future, this functionality will be even more extended, because right now you have to code it. You have to have your widget inside your custom widget, so it needs to be like almost everything should be a code, unfortunately. But in the future, we expect actually this to change, and it will be just my code that I present in this video, and then you're supposed to be able to get the native actions from native widgets from FlutterFlow, and it should be much better, much easier. And just want to mention as well that thank you very much for all the people who have actually subscribed to the channel and who are actually a paid member to the channel as well. Thank you to all of you guys. That actually means a lot to me. 99% of my income from YouTube is actually coming from my paid members. So thank you very much. And if you haven't joined my Discord, please do. The link is in the description. I tend to try to go live every week on my Discord for my goal for 5,000 subscribers. So let's jump into this today video. So we're going to start with Windows. FlutterFlow for Windows. And there is not like a lot to say about that, because we have already talked about the FlutterFlow for Mac, and they actually made a great video for FlutterFlow with Mac. This video currently it's not that introducing, and probably the reason it's only 23 seconds as you can see it, and probably the reason is that it's actually should be the same functionality as the Mac version. But yeah, you can actually run your app on a physical device or a virtual device, and it's actually a great thing. And I have actually a surprise for. I hope I have a surprise for all the Linux user actually that are following my channel, but that's will come in the future. But like I said, please. Write in the comments what do you think about the the Windows version, and are you actually using it? So let's move on to the next one, and let's actually talk about parallel actions. So what are the parallel actions? The parallel actions means that two or maybe even more actions that you have can actually run on parallel, and that means that they'll be executed at the same time, basically. So I have here a demo. So if I switch actually over here and go to on page load, because my parallel actions is on page are on page load, but of course they could be like when a user press a button or something like that. It's the parallel actions should work across the whole FlutterFlow project. But like I said, I'm just using them in my on-page load. So currently I have 3 parallel actions. And my first action is to query my API call. The second one is actually updating an app state to the name will be parallel. And my third action is to query another API call. So that means that those API queries were actually those 3 actions were actually executed at the same time, which actually save a lot of like loading time, and it is actually great, because previously I had to actually had this, for example, this block of actions, then update the app state, have this action, and then I have this block of actions. So it's actually much slower than just execute them in parallel. So how to add them? It's super simple. It's super easy. Just click on the plus sign and add parallel. And this is how you do it. Of course, if you need more than 2, just click on the plus one, and then you have 3, 4, and so on and so forth. And here you have only 2. You cannot actually have less than 2. 2 is the minimal number that you can have parallel actions. So that's everything you need to know about parallel actions. I'm super excited about this upgrade, and I'm definitely going to use it. The next thing we're going to talk about is FlutterFlow OR queries. What means OR queries? OR queries means that if you have a FlutterFlow query and you have a filter, and if you have more than one filter, now you can actually select uh, or AND. Previously, by default, we had only AND, so we didn't have the possibility to actually choose to we didn't have the or, right? So if we for example filter by, let's say, the user, or let's say the email, like the email will be ending to, let's say, yahoo.com, for example, and then the second filter will be also emails that ending on Gmail, for example. Previously, if we use and, that will take all the emails that that should end both with Gmail and Yahoo, which is not what we wanted. But if we have or, that means that we're going to take all the emails of the user that are either in Yahoo or in Gmail. So let me actually show you what I did here. I have like a demo users data collection in my demo project in Firebase, and I have a couple of fields. Like I have a identifier, which is a number. I have a boolean. I have a date, which is my date. I have my reference, which is a reference to the actual user, and I have a username, just a random username. And then if I switch back to my project, and if I go to the query, so this is the query. It's the second one. This second one is the Firebase query. And this is my Firebase query. So I'm actually querying the user's data list of documents. And here I have OR. So OR is enabled, not AND, but OR. And then I have filters. So the first filter that I have is if my Boolean is equal to true. So if this Boolean is true, then show the user. And I have another one, which is or if the username is equal to gray07. So if either of those are true, show me the user. It's basically what I'm doing. So if I switch back over here, you can actually see that indeed I have the user name gray07, which is this boolean is false, but still showing, right? Because I have the username of gray07. Or I have another username here, so I have other usernames here, but they are also showing because the boolean is true. So you can actually see it over here. So that's why they are actually showing. So that's actually great. It's much appreciated. To be honest, I don't know how we lived without that previously. It will open great possibilities for all the people using Firebase and even getting better results from their queryings. So it's really, really much appreciated. And thank you, FlutterFlow, for that. To FlutterFlow, it's API interceptors. So what are API interceptors? API interceptors are if you actually have a code that you want to run before you run your API call, or if you want to run it after you run your API call. So it could be actually both sides. So it could be also running it before you run the API call and after you run your API call. So a good example for this will be to manipulate the data, manipulate the answer the response that you get from the API call. So, for example, if you like previously, when I get a response from my API call and I have this JSON or a list of JSONs, I may, for example, let's say filter it, or I may, for example, have a custom function that will change the data type, let's say from a string to a number, or let's say from a URL string to change it to the audio, to change it to audio path in FlutterFlow. But currently, right now, you should be able to do that with an API interceptor without those filters, actually, which is much appreciated. Like I said, um, um, the bad thing about that is for some reason there is not like a proper documentation for it, or at least I'm not able to access this documentation, because if you actually go to the FlutterFlow documentation and then search for API interceptors, so if I actually click on the search and just right here, API interceptors, you should be, so API interceptors, so you should be able to actually see the API interceptors. So it's I don't know why it's not showing currently. It was here for some reason. Yeah, it was actually here. They constantly changing the documentation. It was here, but for some reason right now I don't see it. It was actually showing. Yeah, it is actually here. Sorry. So this is the one I'm talking about. So it says API interceptors, but unfortunately we don't have it in the actual document for some reason. So if I click over here, nothing will actually show up or change because we don't have it here on the right side. So I would guess that is like internal. They haven't published it yet or something like that, but still it's showing in the search, but it's not in the actual document for some reason. So without actually knowing how to use the interceptors, like to, I mean, in a code way, or how to code it, it is very hard to actually show you a working demo on it. I try it. I failed it like a couple of times, and to be honest, with, like I said, without documentation, it's I will be like guessing what is going on. So I don't want to spend like a lot of time guessing. I would just wait for the official documentation. But how you are reaching this? So any API code that you have, click on code definition and then advanced settings, and then it's under here API interceptors. I don't have to enable it. Don't be fooled. This will enable the code responses UTF-8, so you don't have to enable anything. You just have to add it, right? So you just click here and add an interceptor. It's still like in developer. So there are a couple of things that can be improved in the future, like clicking on my interceptor, for example. I want to launch the actual code. Right now it's doing nothing, and I can move it, which is great, but once I add it, it's a little bit confusing where is actually going and what is going on. Also, adding a new interceptors, it's great that you have the search bar over here, but I don't see my current interceptor. So what is the point of having the search bar over here when we are actually adding a new interceptors? I think the whole idea is that when you click this button, it should be automatically launch this windows over here and not like search for your old interceptor. But when you actually add a new interceptor, you have this boilerplate, and FlutterFlow actually encourage you, and I saw this in the document, that you can still actually read the document. It's funny, from the search bar, that you can actually copy this and go to ChatGPT and ask it to do whatever you want to. It will still fail, to be honest. It will not give you the right answer because it doesn't know what is API call response, what is this class, and what is actually containing, what this class is actually containing, what methods do you have, properties, and so on and so forth. But it will give you, like I tested it, will give you like 90% of the code. It will be a working code, but still you have to manage the rest of it. So you can actually see in the demo that they have, you're supposed to return the response. So it's very important actually that you are returning the response, which is actually the API call response, and you're actually returning the whole response. So this response actually contain, I don't know if I can show you, but it should contains the body, it should contains the headers, and it should contains also the status code as well. So it's actually the whole response, right, from the API call. Great, which is when I tested the thing that I wanted to test it is, let me show you what I mean. So I have this demo users that's given me as a response, and I have this JSON actually with a demo users, and I have a demo location over here. You can see I have this location, geolocation, and then my idea was to provide the London geolocation, and then providing the London geolocation, I want to have a new field automatically when I use the interceptor to actually show me how many kilometers away I am actually from this, not I, but this user is actually away from London. Uh, and this is what I tried actually over here. Don't bother with. Sometimes you get this. Yeah, it's because this is the colorize is still working, so that's why you get these errors. But you can actually see my code don't have any errors, and it's supposed to work. But for some reason, it's actually not working. I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting an error, which I'm not sure why. But the code is working fine until this part over here. So it's until the return actually. This is working exactly how it's supposed to. The distance to London in kilometers is actually returned as expected, and it's added to the JSON, and it's also added to the to the response body. So I'm actually returning the whole response, and I decided to actually create it like that, and then return it like that. So I would just return it the API call response, and I'll return the response, which is the the result, which is the JSON encoded of the whole body. And then I have the response headers. I need to return the response header, and I need to to return the response status. How do I know that? Well, if I hover over to the API call response, you can actually see those three over here that you need to have it in order to initiate the class. So that I tried that, but for some reason, like I said, it's not working. I'm getting an error, unfortunately. But I'll probably do a video separate in my channel when this is like finalized, and when the document is actually, so we can actually see a working demo, because this boilerplate is actually not telling you much. Like, for example, how do you change the body type, because we don't have access to the actual body type. So another thing that you probably need to know, referring to the API interceptor, is that in my GitHub, you can actually go to the source code of FlutterFlow, and then go to libraries, backend, API requests, and they have this API manager. And inside this API manager is actually the whole class of the API call response. And this is very important, because if you want to use it, you should be able to know what is under the hood actually, and provide also, it's a good practice to provide the class itself to ChatGPT if you want to ask them to write your code, because ChatGPT needs to know what is this class and how it's constructed. And you can actually see here in this class that we have this body text, which is the text of the body, but this is a getter, right? So uh, if you are, I'm going to get like a little bit in details for the code, but I just want to explain for you guys who actually are coders, that you need to actually you need to have a setter as well in order to set the body, because the whole idea is that we will get the body, but there is no way to actually set the body. So I tried to set it this way, so that's and it did not work. So that's why I decided, okay, maybe I'll return it like that, because they are actually returning it. FlutterFlow team are actually returning the whole class. So then I decided, okay, I will try to return the whole class as well. But unfortunately, like I said, I got an error. So let me know in the comments below if you want to actually if you want me to create a video for the API interceptor, and let me actually know in the video about some use cases that you want me to show, or some use cases that you are already using the interceptor for. So thanks. So let's move on to the final part. Okay, so finally, we're going to talk about other improvements, which is walkthrough bug fixes, local run bug fixes. That's great, actually, that they fix those too. I don't know what are the actual fixes, to be honest. And ability to copy actions across projects. So that's something interesting, actually. It says like other improvements is like this is something super small, but guess what? It's not. If it's actually working, I don't think this is something small. I think that is something huge, actually, to be able to copy um, to be able to copy um, actions from one project to another. So let me actually, I just copied my parallel actions. And let me actually go to my other project, and let's test that, because this is interesting for me. I just want to know if this will actually work. And if I open it and if I click on paste, yeah, everything is working, which is great. The thing is that I don't have this API over here, API call over here, but it's working. So I can confirm that uh, the copy and pasting actions from one page project to another, it's actually working, which is actually great. It's really, really, really good. Um, the thing that I'll probably want in the future is to have some way of like sharing those actions as well across projects, so across users. So what I mean by that is, if I want, for example, to just copy those actions and then send it to another user, so he or she can actually paste it in their project, copy them from there and paste it to their project, that would be great, actually. That is something that I'm willing to see in FlutterFlow. And the new features that we're working on, we have the drag and drop widget. That's great, actually. Much appreciated. A lot of people were asking for the drag and drop. We have FlutterFlow Copilot. Not a big fan of the AI, to be honest. Like, it's very hard to make the AI to give you like the right answer. But let's see. Maybe I'm skeptical, and FlutterFlow will surprise me and drop the bomb. We'll see. But but the thing is that why it's not FlutterFlow Copilot in the first place? Why it's drag and drop widget in the first place? That's a little bit weird. I mean, if it's something like it's really unremarkable, then it should be on the first place, isn't it? I'm just thinking out loud here. So another thing, improvement debugging experience. That is something huge, actually, for me personally. This should be on top for me personally. I'm really waiting for that one. Every bit that will improve our debugging of our apps, it's incredible. It will make us faster, it will make us stronger, and it will make us much better. So it's really, really much appreciated. So with that, actually, I just want to say thank you very much for watching to the end of the video. You can actually tap yourself to the shoulder, because you're probably one of the few people to stay until the end. And I really hope that those videos are valuable for you and you're actually learning something new from them. And of course, I want to say thank you very much for all the members all the paid members of my YouTube channel who are actually supporting me. Thank you very much for even considering being a band member. That means a lot to me. And of course, for my 5,000 for 5K subscribers, goal is to actually do weekly live shows in my Discord channel. So if you haven't joined my Discord channel, please do, and please subscribe to the channel so we can actually reach this goal. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and have a great FlutterFlow day.